Welcome back again to Spotlight, where we feature the University of Central Arkansas's College of Fine Arts and Communication. I'm Donna Lampkin-Stephens. Today we're going to talk about public relations at the University of Central Arkansas in the College of Fine Arts and Communication. And joining me are my friend Dr. Riva Brown, who is an assistant professor of public relations.
Correct.
And Miranda Daly, who is a sophomore student of PR. So welcome, ladies, to Spotlight.
Thanks for having us.
So Riva, talk a little bit about, this is your third year, fourth year?
Fifth.
Okay, fifth year.
Fifth year.
So
yes.
tell us, what's the philosophy of the public relations program? I think you're very similar to the journalism program in that we want our students doing real world assignments.
Right. We really believe in experiential learning. We want students to have that hands-on learning experience. There are things that you need to learn that you're not going to learn from a test or a quiz. I want students to really delve in and have a real-world experience so they will know what it's like to do certain things when they get out there and get those internships and jobs.
So tell us, we're going to talk in a minute about one of the assignments that we've done, but what are some of these experiences that you focus on?
Some of the experiences, for example, most of my classes are service learning. I really believe in service learning because it really gives students that chance to do work for a real organization. If students do work that's just a hypothetical situation, they may not do their best. Is that correct, Miranda?
Yes.
Miranda agrees with me wholeheartedly. And I think Miranda will agree with me that service learning is the way to go, because if students are doing work for an organization, a nonprofit, and they know that work is going to go to that nonprofit at the end of the semester, I think they will do a better job. And it really gets back into the mission and vision of this university to be involved in the community in that way. So that is one way that I try to incorporate that practical real world experience in most of my classes. And that carries out in writing for public relations, where students have to write news releases, multimedia news releases, all of these things that the nonprofit organization can actually use. In addition, the public relations techniques class, Miranda is in that class right now. We do things such as mock news conferences. That's not the service learning part, but it's a great real world experience that we'll talk a little bit about later. For service learning, the students create infographics that the nonprofit organization can use. They create media lists to try to get their name out there beyond just the local newspapers and the local television stations. They also assess the online presence of nonprofit organizations. Those are just some of the things that the students do.
So can you tell me, at the risk of leaving somebody out, but what are some of the organizations that, I mean, they've come to you and said, we need some help?
Well, this semester we're working with Conway EcoFest.
Which is celebrating 10 years coming up.
Celebrating 10 years, and that's one of the reasons we were involved. We are involved this semester. Last semester we worked with Conway Locally Grown. So these things go hand in hand, a little bit different from what we've done in the past. Some of the things we've done in the past include the Children's Advocacy Alliance, City of Hope Outreach, organizations like that are local.
Mostly Conway.
We try to stay in Conway as much as
That's
possible. Yes.
Miranda, how did you get involved in public relations? Why did you come here as a PR?
No.
Okay, tell us your story.
I came here as a Spanish education major.
Oh, wow.
A little different. So I knew I wanted to do Spanish, so I thought I'll just be a high school teacher. My mom's a teacher, that's all I know. So I get here and I said, I'm not doing education, no way. So I started to look around, and some of my older friends were in PR, and I just really dived into some research, talked to Dr. Amy Hawkins, and she just kind of convinced me, took the intro class, and I was hooked. So I kept my Spanish degree just added.
That's a good, so double major?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Added PR to it, and I haven't looked back.
Good. So tell us about these mock news conferences, and we've got a little bit of B-roll that we're going to show in a minute. But what is the theory of that?
Well, with that, I'm a former journalist who went into public relations. In public relations, people and journalists, you know, we have a love-hate relationship a little
Absolutely.
bit, you know, just a little bit of love-hate. And I just want to bridge the divide, you know, bring everybody together and help public relations students understand the journalist role. And by incorporating more journalism students, having them come and shoot the mock news conferences, that brings them into the public relations role. So the students, they have to prepare a media kit. And that media kit includes things such as an opening statement. They have to do a background fact sheet, a Q&A, things that they may anticipate a journalist asking, a media advisory, other things that will really help that journalist be informed about the purpose. And I try to pick scenarios that are actually going on in the news right now, the most current things. Some may be crisis, some just may be up and coming items of interest, really pertinent issues that are affecting society right now. So for example, some of the things this semester were H&M, everything going on with the sweatshirt issue with H&M, Time's Up with the Me Too movement. That's a very important thing. Walmart, hey, Walmart is Arkansas. We're right here in Arkansas. So I always try to bring in an Arkansas business. So Walmart, we had some things going on with Walmart with the closing of stores and things going on with the pay and layoffs. So students were able to address those types of things in opening statements, and their classmates played the role of journalists by researching that topic as well to ask very intelligent journalistic questions to keep their classmates on their toes a bit.
And so the role of the UCA journalism students was simply to video.
For now, right. Tony Brooks's broadcast journalism students came in and did an excellent job filming everything, shooting everything. Dr. Polly Walter's students, her photojournalism students, came in and shot photos. So we try to incorporate them in that way. Later on, I would like the journalism students to actually question the public relations students. Right now, the public relations students are learning to play both roles. They're learning to play the roles of public relations spokespersons as well as that journalist role. But having real journalism majors come in and ask questions, that's where we want to go.
So Miranda, tell us about, while we're watching some of this in the background, what was your experience doing this?
So I was partner, her name was Melody Dixon, and we chose Time's Up. Dr. Brown gave us a list of everything we could choose from, and I read Time's Up and I said, that's something I would want to know about personally, so I might as well do that as my project so I'll be pushed more. So I raised my hand first. I said, I want Time's Up. I don't want Walmart. And so we got started early. Dr. Brown set deadlines for everything.
Really, you've been working on this all semester, right?
Yes.
For the past month.
For the past month.
And we would turn something in. She would critique it. We would make those corrections. We would move on to the next thing. So at the end, we weren't cramming. We were ready. We had time to practice our journalism questions, make up questions to ask. It was really hands-on. I enjoy it. I learn better by doing and not memorizing for a test.
So tell us what was the opening statement for the Time's Up?
Time's Up, we just wanted to inform the public on what Time's Up was, what we do. So Time's Up is advocating for sexual assault in the workplace, is pushing legislation for equal opportunities in the workplace for women, and also they have a legal fund set up for women who are seeking legal aid to help them pay for their lawyers and things like that.
So what were the journalism questions?
I got asked, what's the criteria for the legal aid defense? But Time's Up was only, it came together January 1st, so that's not
very
quite
new,
set up yet. What would you tell women who have been sexually assaulted? And Time's Up has a 7-step program on their website, and just things the public wouldn't know because all they've seen is like the black dresses on the Golden Globes and the white roses at the Grammys and things like that.
Very good, very good. So Riva, talk a little bit about, you know, you've been here 5 years now. Where are we going in the PR sequence?
Well, we're in the process of redoing the curriculum to make the students more competitive when they leave out of UCA School of Communication and go to get those great internships and great job opportunities. So we really want to bring in more journalism classes. So for example, we're looking at making sure that they can shoot photos and shoot videos and they know how to edit these things. Those are some of the enhancements. Because we are now a school of communication, that includes the writing department, journalism, as well as communication. We want students to have electives in all of those types of classes. So we have worked closely with other faculty members in those other departments to make sure that our curriculum is truly reflective of a school of communication and it's just not isolated just to public relations. But the purpose of our curriculum revisions is to make the students more competitive. Because gosh, we're a multimedia society. Everything is online. People need to know how to shoot video, edit video, all of these types of things. And that's where we see that our public relations curriculum could improve.
And we've already done quite a bit of overlap with journalism. I mean, you took beginning reporting.
Yes, I am in that right now.
You're in that right now. So so what are some of the already over media law?
Some of the journalism classes that students already take, in addition to beginning reporting, media law, they also take publication design and makeup. So those are some of the classes that they already take.
And what are the plans? I mean, what sorts of classes do you want to be in this new revised curriculum? In journalism and in writing and in comm.
So for comm, we already had a lot of communication classes because we were previously public relations and communication combined. So the communication classes, most of those will stay in place. We are just looking at adding some of those other classes from writing and journalism. So again, the focus is on getting students with those multimedia skills. That is so very important in society today. Public relations as well as journalism, the focus is strong on storytelling. And there's so many different ways to tell a story beyond words. And that's what we want our students to be more equipped with knowing how to do.
Miranda, tell us about your beginning reporting class this semester. What are you learning that is helping you in your PR studies?
I'm learning the other side, lots of AP rules.
Associated Press style, which you need to know.
Yes, has carried over into the mock news conference. That has helped a lot. And writing leads, we're starting to write more stories.
Are your press releases, news releases better?
Yes.
From taking this, yeah, because you know what the journalists want.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
more
good.
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
That's right. Much practice. Yes. So, what would you tell other potential disenchanted of other majors? Why should they come to the School of Communication and take on one of these PR majors or minors?
If you like to talk to people, you also have to be a people person. You also have to be able to write. But the professors are great. It's still a small major, so I know almost everyone that's around my age. The professors know me. They're starting to get to know me personally. I'm a little ahead in my degree, so I'm excited that I have more time with them. It's a fun major also, and there's really no tests, so if you don't like to take tests, but it's a lot of hands-on. You have to set your own deadlines, like get things done. Self-motivation is a big key also.
Good. So, Riva, you are also this semester on the first Directors Advisory Committee because we had this realignment with within the, and you probably don't even realize this, but we have moved things around. We've had the dean on to talk about how the realignment has gone, but we're now, we have journalism, as you said, communication, public relations, and writing, as well as general education, writing, and communication. So tell us about this Directors Advisory Committee. You're on the inaugural one.
The very first one, yes. What a great thing to be a part of something new. With the Directors Advisory Committee, we are really looking at just coming together.
One representative from every program, from first year writing, principles of communication, public relations, communication, journalism, and writing.
Everyone has a representative. And it's just wonderful to just be able to sit together and work together, and we know that we're working to accomplish great things for all of the students in the School of Communication. I think the most important thing is that now when we discuss things and we think about things, I'm just not thinking about public relations students. Of course, they're first and foremost, but I also look at the bigger picture, because we are a School of Communication. We should be united. We should be as one for all of our students to make sure that they get the best education and the best experience possible in the school.
And so tell us how the DAC, Directors Advisory Committee, works. I mean, who else, who are your colleagues on there, and what you do? It's really an advisory role.
Right.
To the director.
To the director, yes. Director John Gale. My colleagues are, again, representatives from the first year writing program, Lynette Great. Principles of Communication, Stacy Fritzkes. Communication, Dr. J.J. McIntyre. Journalism, Professor David Keith. I knew his name. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yes. Of course, me, representing public relations, and Dr. Scott Payne, representing writing. So all of us get together once a week on Thursdays during X period. That's where you'll find me, meeting with my colleagues on the Directors Advisory Committee. John Gale does an excellent job of putting out our agenda so we'll know exactly what we're talking about, and just to be able to have input and know the bigger picture of the School of Communication beyond just the PR program is great. Just to be able to see that bigger picture and where the students as well as the faculty fit in to that has been refreshing.
And so does he generally put one item on the agenda? I mean, give us some examples of what you're thinking about.
We have several items on the agenda. So, for example, 2 weeks ago, the Student Advisory Committee visited that Directors Advisory Committee meeting. And last week, we just kind of really discussed what is it that the students had to say. We have students on that committee. Miranda, you should apply to be on that committee one day soon. Yes. We have representatives from each program, and they get together and they meet. And they came together and talked to us about what their thoughts were about our program, about our majors. And from there, we really took time last week to really consider the points that they made. For example, and I know you will appreciate this, Donna, being a journalist and being a journalism professor, one of the PR students said she wished she had more journalism classes.
Oh,
I know,
great.
wonderful, right?
Really?
Just a great thing, yes.
And did she say why?
Well,
I mean,
they're
they're beginning to get the connections, don't you think?
Right, I think so. From beginning reporting, that's a prerequisite for writing for public relations. So a more journalism in between there would give the students more experience going out to interview people before they get to writing for public relations, and that may be a part of one of the assignments. So yeah, learning about those things, and that helps with improving the curriculum because we get to hear what some of the students are saying they want.
That's great. That's great. So Miranda, what do you hear your colleagues say about? The people in the mock news conference, what were they excited? Did everybody do well? I mean,
everyone did well. We had Miss Haywood. She's a PR person from Little Rock come and critique us. She said we exceeded her expectations, but some people were nervous. I kind of like talking to people, which is kind of rare. So I was excited to get up there. Everyone did well. No one really just froze in the moment. And we had the photographers in our face and the flashing, and it was very
realistic.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So Riva, you're an old journalist, and you've gone to PR. I'm a journalist. I do some PR for the College of Fine Arts and Communication, including this show. What strengths do people like you and I bring to public relations?
I think having been out there in the world and working with public relations people, we know what's needed. So I think that's very key. being able to tell a story succinctly, being able to write it in a way that people get it, you get straight to the point. I think that's very important. But really being able to tease out those important parts of the story that's going to benefit various publics, the different audiences that we're trying to reach. I think those are key strengths.
So do you remember as a journalist
Yes.
getting news releases
Oh gosh, Donna.
that were not what you needed?
Oh yes.
Give me some of those horror stories.
Oh,
and do you
my
talk to
goodness.
your students about this?
Oh yes. Well, in writing for public relations, they will hear a lot of those horror stories. So there were times I just remember covering politics and getting news releases from people in DC or even locally, and the numbers wouldn't match. And I'm sitting there doing the math, and I have my calculator out, and I'm thinking, gosh, I know I'm more of a word person than a number person, but something's not right here, right? Are you knowing from your research that a fact may be incorrect, right? And those things are not acceptable. They are not acceptable.
And that's why I think one reason that PR has had a bad rap among journalists for a lot of time. So I'm really happy that we are doing this, together. I mean, we serve separate masters. You're working for clients. We're working more for the general public. But certainly we can understand each other and help each other. So. Going forward, what's next in your classes?
What's next in my classes? Well, next week, Conway Eco Fest will be in the class, so we will start hard on that service learning project. Many things we will be doing for Conway Eco Fest. We will create infographics for them, various things that will help them to get the word out, because gosh, Miranda, when I asked in class that day how many people knew about Conway Eco Fest, how many people raised their hands?
Almost none.
Maybe
one or
really?
two.
Maybe one or two in a class of 24 students.
Wow.
So we will be able to play a key role in helping to get the word out about Conway Eco Fest.
And
Yes.
do you know the dates for that? I mean, their big celebration is what, next fall sometime?
Yes, in the fall, right. So we will be creating materials that they can be using leading up to the event in the fall.
So at the end of the semester, you'll turn everything over to them and they'll take it and run.
Right. They will come and give us an idea of what they want. The students will actually give a presentation to them toward the end of the semester where they will be able to give feedback on what the students can do to improve it, to make sure it gets used. And then from there, the students will turn it in at the end of the semester. And after the semester is over, I will send it on to Conway Eco Fest.
Great. So give me a little bit of taste here before we go. Give me a little taste of some of the feedback that you've gotten from previous clients. What?
Previous clients, oh my gosh, I remember sitting in a meeting, Donna. I didn't even know the client was there because the client was from a previous semester. And they said, oh, and Dr. Brown students, because of Dr. Brown students, we got, this was Water for Christ. We got a story in the newspaper. Somebody read that and wanted to build a water well in, I believe, Ghana. So yes, those types of things were very key. Hearing people talk about how the work the students created for them helped them to get the publicity that they needed to meet the bottom line for their nonprofit organization.
So complete good positive feedback.
Very positive
good.
feedback.
Do
yes.
you have returners?
I try to do something different
Okay.
each semester, but I'm thinking about a return.
Who knows? In the
You
future,
never
we may
know.
be able to do that.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. We could talk longer about this, and we'll do it again next time. See you next time on Spotlight.